These aforementioned concepts, culture, society, and politics, are essentials in understanding human behavior and social groups. They are interrelated, and to some extent, reflective of each other. Though similarities and areas of convergence existed among them, they are not identical. Their interrelatedness will be explained further in the succeeding chapters. Before we proceed, bear in mind that such interrelatedness can be best understood using your own experience. For the meantime, provide information about yourself, your gender, socioeconomic status, ethnicity, religion, exceptionality, and nationality. But before doing so, you first need to pay attention to the following concepts and their meanings. Look at these photos. What is the message conveyed? Gender is the socially constructed characteristics of being male or female. In short, it refers to society's division of humanity into two distinctive categories, based on sex. Gender served as guide on how males and females think and act about themselves, the way they interact with others, and the performance of their roles in the society. Contrary to the popular notion that gender deals only with differences, that is, society constructs masculine and feminine people, in reality, it is how society confers power on each of these sexes, thus developing the sense of empowerment and sensitivity. Overall, gender also operates as a dimension of inequality. Socioeconomic status, on the other hand, refers to the category of persons who have more or less the same socioeconomic privileges in a society. These privileges are due to inherited wealth and/or the occupational status of the breadwinner in the household. The types of social class or status operate in varying forces and combinations at different times within a society or in diverse societies. In the case of the Philippines, three types are identified: upper class, middle class, and lower class. The upper class consists of the elite families who are the most productive in terms of resource generaton and oftentimes very successful in their respective fields of interests and endeavors, be it in agriculture, industry, business, or government. The middle class is composed of small business and the industry operators, mostly owners and managers, professionals, office workers, and farm owners, with income that is average enough to provide comfortable and decent living. Lately, Filipino overseas workers, who have contributed to the progress of the remittance economy, are also included in this category. Farm employees, skilled and unskilled artisans, service workers, and others, who may be unemployed or underemployed, or those who belong to indigent families, or informal sectors falls on the lower class. Comparatively speaking, this group is the largest in terms of number, and relatively earn their living through subsistence. Poverty-stricken communities in the country are often attributed to the rising percentage of have-nots in the social class ladder. The most potent cultural concept, ethnicity, is the expression of the set of cultural ideas held by a distinct ethnic or indigenous group. An ethnic group refers to people who collectively and publicly identified themselves as distinct and unique based on distinguishable cultural features that set them apart from others, such as shared ancestry and common origin, language, and customs, and traditions. Religion is an organized system of ideas about the spiritual sphere, or the supernatural, along with associated ceremonial or ritualistic practices, by which people tried to interpret and/or influence aspects of the universe beyond human control. Exceptionality, as used in this context, refers to the state of being intellectually gifted and/or being physically or mentally challenged conditions, such as personality or behavior, communication, intellectual, physical, and combination of more than one specific exceptionality or disability. Lastly, nationality is the legal relationship that binds between a person and a country. It affords the state jurisdiction over the person, in the same way with the person of the protection by the state. For those people, who are legally born of Filipino parents, and those naturalized in the country after fulfilling the requirements of residence, are granted the nationality as Filipino citizens or naturalized Filipinos. Given the fact that you are now familiar with these terminologies, I hope that you are now able to provide the right information about yourself. Nonetheless, as I have mentioned a while ago, we differ from one another. With such in mind, though we may be different, we should be able to embrace and celebrate these differences and avoid boxing or labeling people based on these identities. To end this discussion, I have provided you with a short video that surely depicts how to respect our differences. Because no matter how different we could be from other people, there is one constant fact that is inevitable. Watch the video after this slide for you to decipher what it is.
It's so easy to place people in boxes, drawing lines, creating sides. There's us, and there's them. Those we feel comfortable around, and those we don't. There are those of us with many chapters, and those just starting their own stories. There's the well-to-do, and those doing what they can. There are those we share something with, and those we don't seem to share anything with.
Welcome, and thank you for coming today, guys. Today I'm going to be conducting an experiment where I'll ask you a series of questions. Now, these questions will be very personal questions, and for us to get a true result, I need you to be completely honest with how you respond. The first question I have is, who in here was the class clown? Who is never on time?
And then, there's us. We who have tattoos. We who feel lonely. We who have been bullied. We who have bullied others. We who are madly in love. We who have overcome great adversity. And there's the lucky ones, whose team won the championship this year. We who beat cancer. And then, there's all of us, who are created in the image of God. As one body, we stand together. United as one, under His grace.
Social, political, and cultural behavior and phenomena. Before discussing with you our next topic, it is just appropriate that you be familiar with what social groups are. By definition, social group is a collectivity of two or more individuals who are in state of interaction with one another. State of social interaction refers to reciprocal influence individuals exert on one another, through interstitiation and response. Example: a family living in a home. Group of employees working in the same organization. Group of classmates. Group of members of a meeting. Social groups have following types. On the basis of contact, ch. Cooley. 1. Primary group. 2. Secondary group. On the basis of identification, W.G. Summer. 1. In-group. 2. Out-group. On the basis of rules and regulation. 1. Formal group. 2. Informal group. On the basis of structure, Dwight Sanderson. 1. Voluntary group. 2. Involuntary group. 3. Delegate group. On the basis of relation to society, George Hassan. 1. Unsocial group. 2. Pseudo-social group. 3. Antisocial group. 4. Pro-social group. Let us discuss the different types of social groups one by one. On the basis of contact according to C.H. Cooley. 1. Primary groups have the following characteristics. 1. There is face-to-face interaction among its members. 2. There are frequent interactions among its members. 3. The relations among the members are too personal, intimate, and intense. 4. There is a sense of we feeling in the members. 5. The members possess similar background attributes such as language, interests, culture, religion, etc. 6. There is physical proximity among the members. 7. These groups are smaller in size. Examples: family, neighborhood, local brotherhood, close friends, and peers. Secondary groups have the following characteristics. 1. The group is formed by relations secondary to the primary group. 2. There is comparatively less face-to-face interaction. 3. There is comparatively less frequent interaction. 4. The relations among the members are impersonal and secondary. These relations are relatively less personal, less intimate, and less intense. 5. The members have specific aims or interest to achieve. 6. There is less physical proximity among the members. 7. These groups are larger in size. Examples: a shopkeeper-customer relation, a doctor-patient relation, a student-teacher relation, a candidate-voter relation. Next, on the basis of identification according to W.G. Summer. In group. A group, to which we directly belong, can be our own family, tribe, sex, occupation, games, or interest group. Used when an individual wants to identify himself with a group or show an association with his group. Members from this group have a sense of we feelings and belongingness towards their in-group. Out-group. A group, to which we do not belong, can be any group of others, not ours. Used to distinguish one's identity from that of others or to compare one's identity to that of other. There is a sense of they feelings. On the basis of rules and regulations. 1. Formal group. has well-defined rules and regulation for joining the group, staying in the group, and leaving the group. Examples: banks, hospitals, educational institutions. 2. Informal group has prescribed rules and regulation for joining the group, staying in the group, and leaving the group. Examples: people gathered to see a joker in a public place, informal clubs and associations. On the basis of structure according to Dwight Sanderson. 1. Involuntary group. A group that an individual cannot join or leave by his or her own choice. 2. Voluntary group. A group that an individual can join or leave by his or her own choice. 3. Delegate group. A group that serves as a representative of the larger number of people. On the basis of relations to society. 1. Unsocial group. A group that remains detached within a society. Do not participate in the society and remains alone. Examples: introverts, criminals, thieves. 2. Antisocial group. A group that acts against the interest of the society. They destroy public property and peace. They intend to spread fear and aggression to pursue their aims. Examples: terrorists, murderers. 3. Pro-social group. A group that works for the betterment of the society. They engage in activities for development, prosperity, welfare, and peace in the society. Examples: welfare organizations. 4. Pseudo-social group. A group that participates in the society only for their own interest and gains. They do not care about the interest of others or betterment of society. They are concerned only about their own gains and benefits. Now that you are familiar with what social group is about, let us continue our discussion on Lesson 2, Social, Political, and Cultural Behavior and Phenomena. Every society has its own norms to follow. Social norms, is what we may call it, served as guides or models of behavior which tells us what is proper or improper, appropriate or inappropriate, right or wrong. They set limits within which individuals may seek alternative ways to achieve their goals. They are usually in the form of rules, standards, or prescriptions that are strictly followed by people who adhered on certain conventions and performed specific roles. Social norms indicate the society's standards of propriety, morality, ethics, and legality. In the conduct of social interaction, each person has sets of expectation on how others react accordingly, commonly known, understood, and agreed upon by the group. They applied to day-to-day normal activities like routines and daily chores, although there are also some, which is only applicable to specific situations or occasions. These expectations comprised what society regards as the range of the ideal and tolerable behavior as opposed to the range of deviant behavior, served as the watershed of the society.
Hi, I'm Social Norm, but you can just call me Norm, and I'm here to talk about normal social behavior, or social norms. What is a social norm? A social norm is the expected behavior of people within a social group. You'll first need to know what a social group is. Social groups are groups of people who interact with each other. Some examples of social groups are: people in a family, people at school, in a classroom, or on a playground, people at an assembly,
Seriously?
people at a sporting event, people in a doctor's office, people at a hospital, people at a concert, people at a movie, people at a store, people in a restaurant. Any group of people interacting with each other is a social group. Why are there social norms? Social norms help us to understand and predict what other people will do. What does the word norm mean? Norm is short for normal. In social groups, a norm is an expected or normal behavior. An unexpected behavior isn't a norm or normal behavior. Human beings and other social animals need norms to guide them and direct their behavior. Norms provide order and predictability in social interactions and relationships. Norms help people to make sense of and understand each other's actions. Let's talk about what happens when people do behave according to the social norm, in an expected way. When a person behaves in an expected way, the people around them are comfortable because everything is normal. There is not a problem and there is nothing to worry about. Now, let's see what happens when people don't behave according to the social norm, but instead, behave in an unexpected way.
Who can tell me the answer for number 4?
It's too hard. I don't like it. I'm not doing it.
When a person behaves in an unexpected way, the people around them are uncomfortable, because something is unpredictable and not normal, which signals that there may be a problem. When a person acts unexpectedly, people worry. There is usually a negative consequence for the person who is acting in an unexpected way. People might have negative thoughts about them. People might think the person is acting out on purpose, for attention, or to cause problems, or doesn't know how to behave normally. People might avoid them in the future.
I don't understand your behavior. You are disrupting the class. Go take a break outside, then go to the office. I am going to have to write a note to your parents.
How do you know what a social norm is? You learn about social norms by observing the behavior of people in social groups, and the reactions of other people. If people have a positive reaction or no reaction at all, then the behavior is probably expected. If people have a negative reaction, the behavior is probably unexpected. Your parents and teachers will teach you about social norms, and what is expected behavior. A few examples are, when to say please and thank you, and when to greet someone, and when not to. When it's okay to talk, and when it's not. Over time, you will learn what behaviors are expected, and the social norm for various social groups. Do social norms always stay the same or do they change? Social norms change depending on various factors. Here are some of the reasons social norms might change. The role you play in a social group is one factor that guides your social behavior. For example, the normal social behavior for a server in a restaurant is different than the social norm for a customer who is eating in a restaurant.
Excuse me, would you please bring the check? We are in a hurry tonight.
Please pay your check. I'm in a hurry tonight.
It is okay for a customer to ask a server to bring their check or bill anytime, so that they can pay. It isn't the social norm for a server to bring a check or bill before the meal is over and ask the customer to pay. That is considered rude and poor customer service. So, as you can see, the role you play within a social group is important. What is expected behavior for one person in a social group might not be expected behavior for another. Another example of when the social norm would change is when the setting or place changes. Something that is okay in one setting might not be okay in another setting. In the next example, you will see how important it can be to consider the setting when choosing socially expected behavior. Remember that behavior isn't just what you do with your body. What you say is just as important.
This movie is a real bomb. B-O-M-B bomb.
Why is this taking so long? It's not like I have a bomb in my pocket.
Did he say he has a bomb in his pocket?
Don't you know not to say bomb at an airport?
I thought everybody knew that.
In this example, saying the word bomb, when describing a failure, such as a bad movie, is expected behavior. But saying the word bomb at an airport is unexpected behavior, and not the social norm, because it could alarm people, and have negative consequences. So, the social norm in one place can be different than the social norm in another place. Another example is that it's the norm to yell at a baseball game. But it's not the norm to yell in a classroom. Just like some words can be used in some settings, and not in others, some behaviors that are okay in some settings aren't okay in others. Another reason the social norm changes is when popular language changes, such as when current slang language changes.
This park is really groovy, man. This park is still really groovy.
People don't say groovy anymore, dear.
One slang word that was used in the past to describe something positive is the word groovy. But it was only popular for a few years and is no longer part of the social norm. Another slang word used to describe something good or positive is the word cool. The word cool has remained popular for decades and is still part of the social norm, as in, that is a cool car. You may have heard the more recent slang word, sick, also used for something good, like the word cool. Sometimes, slang words like cool and sick can be confusing, because cool can also refer to the temperature of something, and sick can also mean an illness.
The seasons are changing, and it's getting cool.
Cool.
Wow, your costumes are really cool.
So cool.
Mom and Dad, look, that car is so sick.
My poor sweet boy doesn't want to eat because he's sick.
Social norms also change as societal opinions change. As society advances, common opinions change. For example, it used to be the social norm for people to smoke cigarettes. Even medical doctors and athletes smoked. It was considered cool. But when people learned that cigarettes and other tobacco products are unhealthy and harmful, and that nicotine is highly addictive, it was no longer the norm for people to smoke cigarettes. Today, people who smoke, use tobacco, or other addictive nicotine products are behaving outside of the social norm. If you aren't sure whether something is part of the social norm in a social group, you can ask your parents or your teacher. Today we talked about what a social norm is, why social norms are important, and some of the factors that can affect normal social behavior within social groups. Congratulations, you now know what a social norm is, and recognizing the social norms in different social groups will help you to become more socially aware. Social awareness is important for people to feel confident that they know how to behave expectedly in social groups. My name is Social Norm, but you can just call me Norm. I enjoyed our time together today, and I hope you did too. I look forward to seeing you again. Goodbye for now.